Hello, it's your favorite sports Unc here. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to join the fastest growing community on YouTube. Remember, Nightcap doesn't happen without you. So please subscribe or you're going to make Ocho cry. Let's start with the beatdown that we just witnessed. The Pacers blew out the Bucks 129-103. Dame has a potential Achilles tear. I don't want to pay. It didn't look good because when he went down GP, he grabbed the back of that ankle, and we know what that seems to indicate. Hopefully, it's not that. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Let's pray for that. But they blow him out 129-103. The Pacers, 8 guys in double figures. Siakam, 12 points. Nesmith, 14. Turner, 23. Nembhard, 20. Haliburton, 17 with 15 assists. Obi Toppin had 13, Walker 12, and TJ McConnell had 15. And the Bucks only had 3 guys in double figures, but it wasn't nearly enough. You could see a lot of the momentum leave the building once Dame Dollar went down with that Achilles injury. GP, let me ask you this. You played, I don't know if you had any severe injuries that was career-threatening. What does this mean for Dame, if this is what a lot of people are surmising or suspecting that it might be?
Well, you know what, Shannon, it's like this. Dame is here from Oakland, California, where I'm from. You know what I'm saying? And I grew up with his pops. We got the same agent. You know what I'm saying? And I got the message for him there. It doesn't look really, really good. You know what I'm saying? Dame just getting back from his injury that he was from. He only had 1 game back. It doesn't look really, really good. You know what I'm saying? That's my guy. That's like a little nephew to me. I don't like it. I just don't like the injury. I think this is not going to be good for Milwaukee. Milwaukee is not that basketball team that everybody needs to see. They can't compete with this young team in Indiana. It's not looking good. And I don't think it's going to be looking good. I think this is going to be a terrible, terrible news for the Milwaukee Bucks.
I'm going to let you go in just a second, Ocho. Was this Giannis, if they get swept in the first round again, is this Giannis' last game in Milwaukee?
Well, they're not going to get swept. You know, with Shannon, if
they get put out of the playoffs and get 4-1.
Yeah. What I'm going to think is what's going to happen, Shannon, is they're going to make a retool of everything. You know what I'm saying? They got to think about everything. They got to think about how they're going to get better, what's going to happen. This team is not the same team. They try to make trades with Middleton and all that. It didn't work. I think they're going to retool this whole team. I don't even think Dame's going to be there next year. I'm going to be honest with you. You know, it's something that they got to retool about. This team is not the same. If they get before 1 in this series, I think they're going to retool everything, Shannon.
Ocho, go ahead.
Hey, listen, we talk about retooling GP. This is what's going to happen. Listen, my ears and eyes aren't as closest to the basketball world as UGP, but I can tell you this: Giannis was already frustrated. Giannis was already frustrated being in Milwaukee and not winning. Obviously, he's won a chip already, but the addition of Dame Dollar was supposed to be that of one that got them over the hump. Now, if they get swept, or gentleman sweep as we so call it, I think he's going to be frustrated and probably asked to be out. With Dame obviously being hurt, I'm hoping for the best for him. That it's not as bad as what it looked like. I don't think Dame will be there as well. But knowing Giannis, especially with Dame coming off an Achilles injury, if that's what it is, I think he's gonna ask out. And I'm gonna just throw this out in the pot. The best place for Giannis to go is to go from the Bucks and come on down here to Miami because we need a superstar. I just had to throw that out there just so the basketball gods can hear that and I can manifest that for us down here.
Let me tell you about that. I get it, but you know these are going to be big trades. You know what I'm saying? To get Giannis, you got to give a lot of people away.
Yeah.
The only person that they're going to be asking for a lot from Miami. You know,
probably 4 draft picks and 2 players.
Yeah, and them players are going to be their top, like Hero and Bam. him. So
Right.
what you're trying to say right now, Chad, is I get it. I get it that that's what you want to say, but they're going to have to put one of them dudes in. And then when you get rid of a lot of them players, you're going to come with a lot of other players that you got to bring along. You know what I'm saying? So who you going to keep? They're going to try to get rid of Bam if that's the case.
Yeah.
And Hero's going to be there, and then it's just only going to be Hero and Giannis. So we got to understand that, but it's going to be a lot because they're going to have to give a lot away to get that kid.
Go ahead.
See, I understand exactly what you're talking about too. Give me a minute, y'all. Chat, y'all stay with me real quick now. Now, I sat down yesterday. With Pat Riley and Mickey Arison, and we came down with a game plan based on what we want to do, and trying to facilitate a way to get the Heat back to what we used to be at one time when we had our big three, when we had Bosh, we had D Wade, and we had
cut you
LeBron.
off right there. First of all, you got to learn what 206. I got y'all championship, baby. It was us who started that thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Listen,
we won that first chip.
Yeah, you're right. One thing about it, I'm not gonna forget history. I remember history. I remember history. So what I'm thinking about, I was talking with Pat yesterday. We sat down, we have a cup of tea, with a pinky finger out. And I asked him, I said, listen, we need to do what we need to do. The Grizzlies, they got swept. I think we need to make a move for Ja. We need to make a move for Ja.
You still got to give up pieces, Ocho. You think people just gonna take Ja?
Listen, before you start a Payton, you got a canvas, right? So the conversation Pat Riley had, it was the canvas. Now allow us to work, now allow us to paint. We ain't even get to the painting part yet. We're gonna figure out a way to get it done. Now not only we're gonna get Giannis, we're gonna find a way to get Ja Morant down here as well.
But see,
and I think when we get the addition of them two, then we build around Ja and Giannis down here in Miami.
But Chad, how you gonna get both of them without giving up everything you got?
Listen, we don't have a problem giving up everything we have because we can build with those two as
you
future.
Can't. Because here's the thing. See, you thinking everybody's going to make the same mistake that Nico Harrison made, giving up Luka basically for an even swap with Anthony Davis. And
well,
a whole
Shannon,
lot of
I'm off right there, Shannon. Now, y'all got to understand, Nico, my guy, he's a president. He doesn't own that team. For you to give away Luka,
yes.
When you give up Luka, you got to have permission to give up Luka. I don't care what y'all saying. Don't put that on Nico. Everybody trying to put that on Nico. Don't do that. He got to have permission to get rid of that guy. You know what I'm saying? Right. And that owner, she had to say, yeah, let's do it. Don't give it on him. Don't put it on him. He had to get permission to get rid of him. And it had to be a lot of more reasons to give away Luka. It wasn't just because we trying to make a deal. It's because something else in that situation had to say, I'm ready to get rid of this guy. I don't want to give this guy $350 million because he's not being that guy in Dallas who he was. And that's what you guys got to understand. He was doing a lot more things in Dallas for them to get rid of him. You know what I'm saying? And that's
for sure. It's kind of like Adam Silver is the commissioner. Roger Goodell is the commissioner. And people get mad at them, but they work at the behest of the owners.
Right.
The owners run the league. Adam Silver is just the mouthpiece. Yep. Roger Goodell is the mouthpiece. So you have to take all the booing. Ocho, remember Thursday night? He's like, man, they booing the commission again? Yep. They can't boo the owners because the owners don't get introduced. So they boo the commissioner. You're absolutely right. But in a situation like that, think about what Minnesota gave up to get Rudy Gobert. Think about what Phoenix gave up to get Kevin Durant. There are not a whole lot of teams other than the only team that I can think of off the top of my head that have the kind of draft capital and some of the players that a team might be interested in is OKC.
Right.
They got 13 first-round pick and pick swaps. And Jalen Williams, I don't think they want to part with Jalen Williams. I really don't. They're not getting rid of Shea. So don't even call. They're going to hang up on you. And then everything that you say after that is going to be moot. So it's just hard when you trading superstars. If you're going to talk about Ja and Giannis, you're going to have to get like 5 or 6 teams involved, GP.
You got to. Well, Shannon, you're going to have to get 4 teams at least to get away 2 of their stars or some of their stars and a lot of draft picks. You know what I'm saying? So let's talk about OKC. They're not giving away nobody. They just swept. They just swept a team. So I ain't even tripping off that. They young and they gonna be cool. And they little young point guard about to get the MVP of the league. I don't know. It's gonna be hard with Joker, but I think he gonna win the MVP.
I do too. I agree.
So it's like this. They're not gonna do anything. For these teams to be where they want to be, they're gonna have to give up something. And they're gonna get a lot. It's going to be a lot to give up. And we're not going to sit here and sugarcoat it. It's not going to happen. They're going to have to give up a lot of their players, and they're going to have to restart. Chad, if Miami give up anybody, they're going to give away their whole team. And I know Pat Riley, too. You know, I play for him.
Yeah.
He'll fool around and do that, but he's not going to give away Hero right now and all them dudes because I just can't see it. You can't give away them dudes for a young piece and just say, you got to give me away these guys and say, I'm going to rebuild with them. And they old. Right. They can't do that.
You see, this is the thing. This is the thing, GP. Like, I understand you played for Pat. You have a great relationship with Pat, right? And with great understanding. This is some of the things that are out of character for him to do. But right now, Pat and Mickey, they're in a different situation. We want to get back to our winning ways. Can we get back to our winning ways with the squad that we collectively have right now? Now we got some players. We got a good squad. You know, they put on their hard hats. They make it. You know, they play just well enough to make it to the playoffs. But we don't want to do just well enough. Like, we want to get back to the upper echelon of coming out of the East and actually challenging, contending for NBA championship. And how do we do that? We have to do something that's out of character.
Well, tell Pat
what Dallas did. That's out of character.
Tell Pat to sit back, because here it is, GP. You know this. Your son is currently in the league. Yeah. It's a different league now. That iron fist and that ruling, like I'm dictator, that ain't flying with these young cats no more. All that Pat Riley, you taking cookies and it's going to be my way or the highway. Guy says, okay, I take the highway. You see LeBron James left because he took cookies. He had a problem with Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler left. So what do you think Giannis is? Giannis is an apex predator. You think you're going to be able to talk to Giannis like you do Tyler Hero or Bam? Hell no.
Listen, you heard what you just said, Unc? You heard what you just said? Listen, people like that have ability to change and understand.
He hasn't. No, he's not. GP, talk to him.
Yeah, Chad, listen. You listen. Me and Shannon is almost in the same era. Came after you. You know you're a beefer. Like me, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Me and you Oregon State for sure. You know what I'm saying? But right now, this era is a lot different, man. They controlling things in this little era, man. And we got to accept it. They're controlling things. So what's going to happen is that Pat going to try to get right, but he got to get that player that's going to be willing to do whatever. And to get Giannis and to get Morant, you're going to have to pay a lot. Yeah. So think about what happened. Memphis fired their coach in the middle of the season.
Right before the playoffs.
When they was like 4-5 in a seed. And because of whatever happened, whoever did it, whatever happened. And it didn't work. It didn't work. So now we talking about the same thing. Giannis can go and cry or all he want to do, but we ain't got a lot of players out there that's going to get out like that now. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of these dudes want to play with each other. So who want to play with Giannis? Who want to do that? Who want to take a 2-year, 3-year deal and say, I'm going to Milwaukee? Ain't too many people coming to Milwaukee.
No, they ain't going to Milwaukee.
They ain't going to
You
Milwaukee.
have to trade for somebody. Ain't nobody signing.
They ain't going to Milwaukee.
Hey,
so now what
you know where they want to come?
Is now, where can I go?
Miami.
Okay, you can come to Miami. But how you going to give up? You're going to give up all your team. And then you're going to have 2 players, and then you got to fill up 13 more positions.
I give you a prime example, Ocho. GP, you can attest to this. It's the same thing that happened when Carmelo Anthony left Denver and went to New York. They had a nice team if they could have kept that team and got Carmelo. But when they got Carmelo, the Nuggets gutted them.
Yeah.
And now look what you got. You got a superstar in New York, and Carmelo was a superstar, but he had nothing. And so now...
And then you went and got my boy AI. He was agent. You know what I'm saying? So what you got to do is, what is you going to put with these dudes, man, nowadays in this era? You don't want to gut your whole team. You know what I'm saying? We can take Oklahoma City, for example. They didn't gut their team. They started drafting, and now look at them. Look at them how they are now.
Traded.
You're not gonna gut everybody to do that, and I don't think that's gonna happen. Because this team, Milwaukee, if they lose, I don't know what they gonna do, but they not gonna be sit around here and say we gonna give 6-7 players and 4-5 draft picks for Giannis. It ain't gonna happen.
It ain't gonna happen.
He's not that type of basketball player for y'all to get rid of y'all team and say, okay, we're gonna build around him and do this, that, and that, but we ain't got nothing around him. It ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work like that.
No. When you look at this game, and when you look at the Bucks, outside of Giannis and Dame, they really not that good. Brook Lopez played 15 minutes tonight. He had 6 points. He had 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block, 4 personal fouls. Here's a guy that's 7 foot tall, and I don't think he's ever averaged more than 8 rebounds in a season. Let that sink in. He's 7 foot tall. He doesn't want to play with his back. At once upon a time, GP, he played with his back to the basket. Now he's a 7 foot perimeter player. That's no good because Giannis needs space. So he has to space. He has to stand out there. Serves you no purpose. Dame goes down. Now you look at this lineup. Kyle Kuzma. Now, everybody complained, well, Kyle Kuzma didn't have to get the... He played 16 minutes tonight. He was 1 for 6, 0 for 1 from the 3, 1 for 2 from the free throw line. He had 0 rebounds again, 1 assist, no steals, no blocks, 0 turnovers, 3 fouls. Hey, Doc, that's on you because you say, how can you get in the rhythm if you don't shoot the ball?
Yeah.
You're the head coach. It's your job to diagram plays to put him in position. That's again. Now, remember the Ocho, the other stat line the other night, it was zeros across the board. Now, at least he made 1 shot. At least he made 1 free throw. And then he had 1 he had no rebounds, 1 assist, no steals, no blocks.
But Shannon, these are basketball players you talking about. You trying to put something on them, man. Listen here, man. In all my age, in my era, man, these dudes got to get out, man. These ain't players like that, man. We only talk about athletes. We talk about players. In my era, man, in the 90s, man, we had players, man, that's going to go get it every night. So think about that, man. You trying to put something into some players that really ain't into that situation to have that type of role. You feel what I'm saying? That's the type of role they in, man. They ain't in that type of role, man.
You ask him to be something that he's not.
In that way. When have you ever seen these players that you just named be a primary or a player that you need to put in that role? You ain't never.
That's why the Lakers were so willing to get rid of him. That's why the Wizards were so willing to get rid of him because that's not what he is. Yeah, he can get hot and give you 25, give you 30, but routinely, if you go back and study Kyle Kuzma, this is what he is. He's wildly inconsistent, and it's hard to be a championship team unless you got. When they won in the bubble, they had AD playing at best AD. You had LeBron at LeBron
level. He was at the 4, and then he had
JaVale McGee,
he had Howard and
Dwight
McGee
Howard
playing the center, and he told y'all that when he was thing. He said, "Man, my best position at the 4 when I can get out." You know what I'm saying? And that's how that game goes. It's just like with the Lakers right now. They do not have a chemistry, man, with that team. You watch one person on one side go one-on-one. You watch the other player go one-on-one. You can't win at that type of basketball right now in the NBA. You can't watch that. That's why they're not winning. That's why that team in Minnesota who got that little dog down there in Edwards, they know who the dog. He the Batman. You know what I'm saying? Or the Superman. And them other dudes coming with him. You feel what I'm saying? And he knocking down shots. But that's what they do, man. They young and they getting at it. That's why they up 3-1 right now. And we got to understand that. Basketball right now, Chad, you know it. It ain't like in our day, man, when we had 4-5 people on our squad that can get out. We had a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5. Nowadays, you got 1 or 2 guys on the team that's getting down. That's it. Ain't nobody else gonna get down with y'all. And if you ain't got the right chemistry, you're not gonna win basketball games.
Looking at this game, I mean, I mean, I watched this game from start to finish. I never felt the Bucks was going to win this game because the other night when Milwaukee won, you got 37-point career high from Greg Trent Jr. What was the likelihood he was going to be able to replicate that? Because at this juncture, yeah, he's a streaky shooter. But what was the likelihood of lightning striking twice? I didn't think it was going to happen. Now, did I think Giannis could go get 37 again? Sure, absolutely. But, and I said this, Ocho, you and I was talking about it. I say I'm looking at the Pacers. They only got 3 guys in double figures. That's not how they win games. They're a committee. And they might not have anybody with 30, but they're going to have a bunch of teens and 20s. And you look at it there. They had a 14, a 17, a 13, a 12, a 15, a 23, and a 20. They had 8 guys of the guys that they had played. They got a couple of guys to get in there mop-up duty. But most of the guys that played got double figures. And it's hard to beat a team when you get 8 of your 10 main guys playing and they in double figures. Who do we check? We can't check everybody. And that's why they blew them out. That's why they ran them off the court.
And Chad, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What teams are being successful now with what Shannon is saying? I'm gonna give you them teams. Cleveland,
right.
Boston, Oklahoma City, Golden State Warriors right now, who are playing very well when they playing that way, and that's how they play. What Shannon is saying is they got to know who is Batman and Robin. You got to be a role player. You know what I'm saying? And you don't have, when them teams don't go like that, they're not gonna win basketball games.
Sometimes you got to have a Commissioner Gordon.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? You go. Everybody, you got to have an Alfred the Butler.
There
you know
it is.
what I'm saying? Okay, you got Batman, you got Robin. Okay, who Alfred? Okay, who Commissioner Gordon?
You gotta have them. You gotta have 4 to 5 people who are on the same page level. Oklahoma City is great like that. Cleveland is great like that. Boston is playing like that. And then you got, a lot of these teams are playing like that. I think Denver and the Clippers are playing like that. And that's why that series is a very equal series, and they're 2-2 right now. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's got to work that way. And once you put that together, then I'm with you. You know what I'm saying? But you can't have 1 and 2 dudes because you can't win with 1 and 2 guys. You can't do it. Not in this league right now. How they're so athletic and how they just play off their talent and they shoot threes. It's not going to happen. You're not going to win that way. It's not going to happen this year.